Today we will be learning section 7.2, simplifying expressions. Something to keep in mind here is that you are not solving anything. You're basically just condensing or simplifying different expressions. So we should all be on page 322 in our books. All right, so now, before we get started actually simplifying them, we need to learn what the different numbers and variables within an expression are called, because they all have definitions and we need to be able to recognize them. So the first term that you need to know is you need to know what a constant is. So make sure you write that in your notes. A constant is a number that stands alone in the expression. A number that stands alone. So in this expression that we're looking at right here up top, in that expression, I'm looking for a number that is by itself. It's not attached to a variable, it's just a number that stands alone. And I see that I have the number what? You see a number? The number 8 and negative 10. It's important that we remember to attach that sign to our number. Every number has a sign, and the sign's in front of the number. So 10 in the expression is negative, and I need to make sure that I write it negative when I'm identifying it as a constant. Now, the second definition that you need to know is you need to know what a coefficient is. A coefficient is the number that is connected to a variable in a term. Now, notice I didn't say it's the number and the variable together. So now I look at the terms that have a variable. And the coefficient is the number that's attached to that variable. It's not the entire term. So in this expression, I would say that the coefficients are 2, 4, and 3. All right? All right, now in the third definition, you need to know what are like terms. You need to know what like terms are. Like terms have the same variable. Okay, so in our expression, what terms do you see that have the same variable? What terms do you see? You see a 2x, you see a 4x, and you see a 3x. Now, if there was a y, like a 2y in here, that's not a like term because it doesn't have the same variable. Then another set of like terms would be what? What's another set of like terms? Your numbers. Your numbers that stand alone are also like terms because you can combine them. All right, now here's where simplifying comes into place. You can only combine like terms. You cannot combine numbers and variables that are not like terms. And what I mean by combine is I mean add or subtract. You can multiply them, but you cannot add or subtract them. So when it comes to identifying the like terms in this expression, I would say 2x, 4x, and 3x, and 8 and negative 10. And those are my like terms. All right, now on your homework tonight, this is numbers 6, 7, and 8. This is exactly like numbers 6, 7, $, what am I doing? Numbers 6, 7, and 8 on your homework assignment tonight. It's going to look exactly like this, okay? So keep that in mind for your homework tonight. Now let's look at example 1. Now let's actually combine like terms. I have 7c plus 9 minus 3c. Now remember, I can only simplify or combine terms that are the same. They're like terms. I cannot combine a number with a variable. I can't do it, okay, because they're not like terms. But I can combine variables that are the same. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. Is 3 positive or negative?
Positive.
Negative. Is 7 positive or negative?
Positive.
It's positive. So in this one, it's a little bit easier, but in some of the other examples, it'll be a little bit harder. You need to keep in mind your rules for adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers, okay? So in this case, what would 7c minus 3c be?
4C.
It would be 4c. And then the 9 doesn't have any other terms to combine, so I just bring it down. And my simplified expression is 4c plus 9. Okay? That's all I can do. Because I can't do 4c plus 9 because they are not like terms. I cannot combine a variable with a number. Now, if that was 9c, then I could combine them, but it's not. So let's do another one. Let's do one that's a little more complicated. Okay, what if you had negative 12 plus 5x minus 2x minus 4. Okay? Now, in the instructions would say, simplify the expression. Well, in order to simplify it, I can only combine the like terms, so I have to identify them. What is a set of like terms here in this expression? What like terms do you see, Justin?
Negative 12 and negative 4.
Very good. Negative 12 and negative 4. So now you ask yourself, same sign or different? Same, so what do? Add and keep. Add and keep. So negative 12 plus negative 4 is?
Negative 16.
Negative 16. You see where this ties in from chapter 6? Those same sign, different sign, it's not going away, okay? You need to remember those rules. Now, what's another set of like terms? Sebastian?
5x and 2x.
Okay, negative 2x, very good. And what would that combine to be? 5x minus 2x.
Negative 3x.
Not negative 3x.
3x.
Very good. Positive 3x because the 5x is bigger and 5x is positive. So negative 16 plus 3x would be the answer. If you were to write it 3x minus 16, would that still be correct?
Yes.
Yes, it would, because the commutative property of addition says I can reorder them. Okay, I just need to make sure that I keep my sign. So either one of these could be the correct answer. Okay, so now in example 2, now I am going back to those terms here. Okay, so now I have x plus 4 minus 2x minus 10. Okay, and it wants me that instructions say identify, and this is what you'll do on your homework, numbers 6, 7, and 8. Identify the constants, the coefficients, and the like terms. Okay. All right, so first of all, does anybody see a number that could be identified as a constant? All right, you might want to look back into your notes to check the definition. Hazen?
X and 2x.
No, those aren't constants. Remember what a constant is. Zach?
4 and 10. Negative 10.
Very good. 4 and negative 10. Remember, the sign needs to come with it, and the constant is a number that stands alone, okay? So it doesn't have any variable attached to it. It just stands alone in the expression. Now, what about coefficients? What about coefficients, Chris?
X and 2x.
Okay, remember, the coefficient is the number only in a term that has a variable. So it's the number only. Now, let's look at this term for a second in the expression x. Anytime you see a variable by itself, it has an understood 1 in front of it, okay? It's not always written, but it's there. So in this example, the coefficients would be 1 and negative 2 because it's the number that's attached to the variable. But remember, and notice in your classwork that you're about to do, you're going to need to do this. Notice that I did not write the variable as a coefficient because it's not. The coefficient is the number that's attached to the variable, but it's the number alone. Now I need to identify my like terms. So what's one set of like terms that you see here? What's one set of like terms that you see here that you could combine if you were simplifying it? Justin?
2x and 1x.
Okay, close, but is 2x positive or negative?
Negative.
So it would be negative 2x and x, or if you said 1x, that would be fine. What's another set of like terms that you see? Zach? 4 and negative 10. So if you were simplifying this, those would be the terms that you would be able to combine. Okay? All right, one more example. Example 3. Now, in example 3, the instructions say to simplify the expression 5 times w minus 4 plus w plus 8. Okay? Now, order of operations tells me that what do I need to do first? What do I need to do first? Order of operations says do what first, McKee? Do what's in parentheses. But I have a problem here because can I combine w and negative 4? They're not like terms. So I can apply, and this is where your number properties will come into play. I can apply the distributive property, and I can take the 5 and multiply it by every term within the parentheses. 5 times w will be 5w, and 5 times negative 4 is what?
Negative 20.
Negative 20. Now I'm going to write the rest of my original expression, and now I can combine like terms. So what like terms do you see here that you could combine? What like terms, Hazen?
20 and 8.
20 and 8 or negative 20?
Negative.
Negative 20. You always need to pay attention to those signs, okay? So now you have negative 20 and positive 8. When you combine them, what do you get?
Negative 20.
Same sign or different?
Different.
Different, so what do?
Subtract.
Subtract and take, so what would it be? Just tell me. Well,
Negative 12.
it would be negative 12. Very good. Negative 12. Now, is there another set of like terms that I can combine? Is there another set of like terms? Daniel?
W and W.
Which combines to?
It combines
What's 5w plus
6W.
6w? Because remember, there's always an understood 1 in front of a variable that doesn't have a number. So 5w plus w is 6w. What's another way that I could write this answer? What's another way I could write this answer and it still be correct? Zach?
6W plus negative
6w
12.
plus negative 12 or just 6w minus 12. Okay, just 6w minus 12. All right, so either way would be correct. And that's how you would use the distributive property to simplify an expression. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 7.2.